We're here. We're always here, and God bless every one of us. Yes, it's Friday night again, folks, on the bus, and as always, you know what that means. It is time for that Friday feeling. It is Phil and Liam. We're back again. Fridays are just rolling around all too soon. Before you know it, it'll be Christmas, Liam. But yes, it's a busy show tonight, obviously, due to different conflicts and schedules. And, well, admittedly, Russell didn't actually know that we were playing on Tuesday. He thought we were playing on Wednesday. So there was no PMP. So we'll have to do a bit of an extensive deep dive into the Aberdeen game. So we'll have that on the agenda. Also, we'll be looking ahead to Celtic's next game against St Mirren. This is us now finally out of the whole weekend, midweek schedule that it feels like we've been in for about 4 months now. So yeah, we're playing St Mirren tomorrow, and then it's one game a week till the end of the season, so that's not too bad. It'll be a bit of a rest for the players. And yeah, we'll be talking about fan allocations. It's reared its head again. That's on the debating block tonight. We've got some interesting stories coming out of Celtic Park and Ibrox tonight. We've heard these stories before about, oh yes, the next game, there's going to be away fans back, and then something happens. Usually, Rangers usually do something to change their mind. So we will take that one with a pinch of salt, but we will be talking about that as well. And whatever else tickles your fancy. Because, hey, there was no TNF as well last night because Mark wasn't available. So get your points in as well during the show for me and Liam to talk about, and we'll do our best to get into them. But yes, before we go any further, yes, Liam, Canada's favourite Tim, the wise man, as always. You're here, my right-hand man. How you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing good, doing really good, Phil. I mean, you know, it's funny, I was taking a walk through the neighbourhood the other day, and I seen they sell bear spray down here, right? And it was amazing me, and I go, wow, you know, that's something I could start sending to Scotland, innit? Barry's Bears are back, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. You can smell the taste of bear spray down here some nights, and it gets a bit leery. You know?
Yep. Yeah, we're in that cycle again. You know, you've seen it all over Twitter, the Rangers fan cycle, the delusion cycle. So right now, they're somewhere after new manager is a genius. But if you've actually seen the cycle on Twitter, the same one that does the rounds, the next block on the cycle is lose to Celtic. So that's interesting. They're right at that exact point. So that's just around the corner. So we'll see how they get on in that one. But yes, Barry's Bears apparently are back. So I'm sure we'll have something to say about that at some point tonight. Yeah, but before we go any further, of course, folks, you know what to do. You know what you can do for your Uncle Phil and your Uncle Liam. You can do all that good stuff. You can hit the old like button to help us out on the old algorithms, help more people find the bus, view the bus, and whatever. It's always a busy night on a Friday night. So once again, thank you for choosing us and coming along to watch us this evening. Who's in our comment section tonight? Let's do a wee roll call of who is here. So Graham Tyrrell is here. He was the first one in. He's even got the little klaxon, the little siren thing on the wee emoji there. He's ready. He's got it loaded up. Liam, who else? And Alex Forsyth is in. Jim C is in. Alan Mockwa is in. Who else have we got? Ali is here. Smell the glove. Chris M. Charles Smith. Patman67 is in. Yes. Ian McIntosh is here. James Kennedy's here. As also, Sam Fan Celtic is here as well. Still hasn't changed that name, though. He still hasn't changed it, Liam, after last week. People are telling him, got to get that name changed. All right, but he's still rocking the old Sam Fan Celtic name. But yes, thank you everyone for coming along. See, all the hits are in tonight, all the favourites, all the classics. And hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so. If you're a new viewer that's just discovered the Bhoys bus, then by all means, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification, and you'll be reminded when the bus is on the road. Head over to piesports.com and use the code BUS1888 and you'll get 12.5% off of your order. And yeah, you can still share the link of the Bhoys bus far and wide on whatever social media platform tickles your fancy. And let's get a player teaser going. Who's the hidden player behind the Bhoys bus logo tonight? Quite an extensive career. This one, he's actually got 9 clubs that he's played for. I'm going to have to get Wikipedia up as well on another screen to pronounce a couple of these. To say the least, David Logue would not enjoy trying to pronounce some of these ones. But yeah, let's have a wee look. So tonight's one, and I think we'll get a good bit of banter with this one because it's quite a funny one. He has played for quite a few German clubs here, quite a few German ones. So we've got Bayer Leverkusen, Arminia Bielefeld, Eintracht Frankfurt, Mainz, Koblenz, I believe it's pronounced, Freiburg, then Celtic, Fortuna Dusseldorf, and then FC Seoul at the end there of his career. So yes, who's had mind the Bhoys bus logo? Don't shout the answer out yet, Liam. We will come back to it at the end of the show. Yes, lots of done a wee magical mystery tour of Germany there, that player. But anyway, let's get on with it. Let's get cracking on this Friday feeling, Liam. So yeah, this time last week, obviously we were getting ready for the Hibs game. We were kind of like, Hibs, we'll dust them aside. I know we had a pretty big game against Bayern. We obviously expended a lot of energy, but majority, the show last week, it was all, we'll be fine. The viewers, all the same. Hibs, we'll be all right. And we had an absolute generational stinker. We got what we deserved. We just didn't do enough. I know there was a bit of a controversial VAR call, but at the end of the day, we shouldn't be relying on that. There was some fundamental errors made in that game with the 2 goals that we lost. And yeah, we just came away with nothing. But we made up for it on Tuesday night. They owed us a performance. And the funny bit about it was after losing Hibs, there was no damage done because our opponents tomorrow obviously saw off the bold Philippe Clement by beating Rangers. So there was no damage done. And yeah, we went out and beat Aberdeen on Tuesday. Rangers obviously won their game. It's still a 13-point gap. Celtic now find themselves 5 wins. They win the next 5 games, they will be won the title. It's pretty much a matter of, what if, when, but I say 5 wins in a row now, I guess is the title. The initiative is there. But 5 wins, but 5 goals, Liam. We strange game against Aberdeen on Tuesday night because it felt like we didn't even get out of second gear, but we still absolutely battered them. There was a couple of games at the turn of the year, I don't know if you remember, just about Christmas time, where we played, I think, Motherwell and St Johnstone back-to-back in 2 home games. We beat them 4-0 in both games. And it was, again, like, it was a totally no-frills performance where it was just like, didn't have to really get out of second gear, ended up winning, scoring a barrel load of goals. And hey, if it goes out for the rest of the season, I'm more than happy. But your initial first thoughts on the last week in general, Liam, there's a lot of points here to home in on, but just your first thoughts on this last 7 days.
Right, so go back to the Sunday game. I think there's still one point that we're not talking about, and we should bring this up, and I'm sure we'll have some good opinions on the bus. Is that disallowed goal? So the longer that's went on right now, that doesn't, and I've not really been up in it. It's been a big news day, right? So I don't know if that's came to the top of your feed or not. But the fact that we still haven't had that addressed about, okay, so what are the patterns here and that? Because we've seen the action taken really, really quick on the other side of the street, the other side of the road there. When they want answers, they get answers. And it just seems to have disappeared quite a bit. And I think it has to be a bigger conversation, both on the pundits, on the things, because, all right, here it is. It's one of those times where we've got absolute proof that sometimes there's an undercurrent in our game, that there is a biasness and a favoritism being shown towards some officials' club allegiances and that. And so when you've got a smoking gun like that, I think we need to just be a bit more diligent. And I'm sure we probably are behind the scenes, but that's cost us at least a point. And it cost us the momentum and stuff like that. And so that's what I'm saying. I thought Hibs played really well too. We didn't start the right team. I thought it was a poor selection on Rogers Park for Claxon, Taylor and Ida with the wrong ones to start. It's like, all right, we're going back to this non-merit thing again. I know some players get tired. I watch hockey out here. Those guys play every 2-3 nights. And trust me, it's a very, very physical game. So
Liam, tired isn't an excuse for Adam Ida in the first half not squaring it to Nicholas Kuhn, where he did well to hold the ball up. All you had to do was look up, pass the ball across goal. He had Maeda and Kuhn both standing there, and he didn't. And yeah, so tiredness can't even be used if that was a case of the team were tired. It's like, no, that was just terrible judgment from Adam Ida on that one. I'll give you that, no doubt about it.
And for the Tuesday game, Phil, I thought you got the team absolutely right. That was the right team to start. And you could see that even though we were finding our gears in that one, we still had enough. What we were doing is we were having a process, and you were seeing it working where it was creating chances and all that. I mean, there was a couple of really nice back heelers, and I loved Jota setting the tone, with that cut across the park. I think all those sort of things are things that add to that, just momentum, that. But yeah, we had it. We did it. It was non-spectacular, the first, 2-3 goals, and then bang, we were just in control then at that point. And you could see them so sort of trying to work out maybe what looks like a new way that we're going to play. We're going to be using rather than it going inverted inside, you're seeing it more going up the line from the fullbacks to the winger. We're finding that ball a lot better now. And I'm watching even Kuhn and Jota are curling back to collect that, knowing that that's a pass that's on now. So I think that's what we saw that against Aberdeen. So I was like, yeah, it was a brilliant game. It looked like we were preparing ourselves for how we're going to play the rest of the season. That's going to be our settled squad, one game a week, and we're going to push this and say, all right, so that by the time we get to Champions League qualifications, we've got a system, we've got the recognised players in that system, and we just know how that will work. And, hopefully that's it.
Yeah, hopefully it is, because consistency is the key now, and the fact we've only down to one game a week. I think last season, you actually look at the timeline of events, we really started to pick up after we came out of that 2 games a week period, because it was actually the last week of February last year that we played Dundee in that midweek game and beat them 7-1, and I think that was the last midweek game as well. Then after that, it went down to 1 game a week. I think we only lost to Hearts at Tynecastle, which, as we remember, VAR, as you brought up there as well. Another controversial VAR day in Edinburgh. Imagine that. It seems to be a pattern now. A pattern of assistance, one would say. But yeah, it's last season, we really picked up then. And yeah, we're now going into that 1 game a week. But we've got a massive, massive lead at the moment. I say the goal is there. It's right there in front of them. It's win the next 5 games, which would include a win over Rangers. Then yeah, it's done and dusted. And then hopefully we're in the Scottish Cup final. And then you've got those last 5 games of the season pretty much to just be ready for that. You can rest a few players because the cup final will be the biggest game of the season after that if we're in the Scottish Cup. So yeah, it's all play for now. So it's right there in front of them. They can reach out and they can touch it. But yeah, let's talk about VAR then, because VAR is a thing. So yeah, one of those. How weird is it as well that in the last few years, the amount of times we're seeing these decisions where balls, do they cross the line, don't they cross the line? I remember the World Cup, obviously, it was Japan, funny enough, were involved in it. It was the Japan goal against Spain, I think, and it ended up knocking Germany out, because in the other game it affected them because Japan had already beat Germany. So Daizen Maeda was involved in that as well. But yeah, there was then this whole thing about the ball has to be completely out and from certain angles. It can be, but of course, when it's the World Cup and it's FIFA that are doing it, they've got the top of the line VAR with the whole Hawkeye stuff and all that. They can really zoom in on these things. And then I remember last season in the English Premier League, there was 2 moments that involved Arsenal where they lost at Newcastle, where a ball looked to be over the line. And again, they went back to the whole World Cup example where it was like the smallest part, the most narrow part of the ball was still overlapping the line. It happened to them again against West Ham. And then, of course, it's happened to us there. But our VAR, it's a bit different because we definitely don't have the top of the range VAR and the whole goal line technology, Hawkeye stuff and all that. They can zoom right in on these things. And my interpretation of it, Liam, is if it cannot be conclusively, and that's the key word, conclusively proven, then you have to give the benefit of the doubt to the attacking team. There is a good chance that the ball does go completely out, but we don't 100% know because there's not a decent enough angle they showed us, a decent enough replay, whether they slow it down, play it in real time. There's nothing they can do. So we saw Brendan Rodgers at the end of the game. He was obviously, making the referee know how he felt about it. And I think he's right to call it out. It's quite funny as well, but this time last year we had Brendan Rodgers lashing out about the defeat at Tynecastle, where it was a VAR thing as well. So I say it's quite funny how it's kind of mirroring this time last year. But yeah, I think he's right again because, and I know a lot of people are saying in the chat as well, where is Willie Collum? Is his VAR show not due about this time of the month? Is it not like the tail end of the month we get the VAR review? So I'd imagine when it does finally appear, we will have some kind of... But I'm expecting, because we've seen this before, Liam, for Willie Collum to say, yeah, we didn't definitely know if that was out, so the referee got it wrong there, and then it's just a case of suck it up, Celtic. You just have to. We'll learn from this. We'll make sure it doesn't happen again. I don't know about that. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure there's people on this podcast right now that working in places where if you were the one to overrule somebody that's closer to it and make a call and get it wrong, your arse is at the door. So, I mean, what happened here was the VAR decided to interrupt the referee's game for basically an opinion, to give him an opinion that he thought it was over the line, that his opinion was over the line, because we didn't have any conclusive proof.
Yep.
And whatever he saw as proof from that angle is not conclusive proof, because that's been proven. And so for him to interrupt the flow of the game, to hammer that in, okay, that's something. So say we lose the league by 1 point, right? That's that point right there. You know, that could... It's happened where we've lost the league by a point and goal difference and stuff. And so when you start factoring that stuff into it, yeah, that's always a probability. It just makes what happened a little bit more concerning, that if you brush the carpet with this one and you just let it go and it's another honest error, actually, even if it's not a dishonest error, that man doesn't have the competency to have the responsibility to be making decisions where points in here can alter clubs' finances and progression in Europe and all this sort of intangibles. He's taken himself out of that role right now just through his sheer incompetence, and the fact that when there's a process in a way that has to be followed for this to actually make sense, and you're entrusted with that, and you decide to override that because you thought the ball might have been out, you know.
Yep. Going on for definite.
It'd be gone. That can be the only solution. Why would we give him a second chance? Because if you look at his previous as well, Phil, there's been a lot of decisions that, if you look at, that he's been part of, that have sort of went against, you know, how football was usually played, and but also against Celtic's favour. So,
I could be wrong in saying, Liam, but I think Alan Muir was the infamous referee when they did the experiment of the referee standing behind the goal. I'm sure Alan Muir was the one who was standing behind the goal against Inverness Cali Thistle when Josh Meekings stuck his hand up like that and then feigned injury, and it was a blatant handball from Lee Griffiths' header, cost Ronnie Dyler a potential treble that season.
I mean, so that's the beauty of data and sports science right now, is it works for referees as well. You know, and now we've got the ability to, you know, replay and rewind games at high speeds and get these points out and bring them up, and then, you know, find those patterns of assistance, you know, that, you know, the club with the most integrity and the other side want us to adhere to. So yeah, I'm up for that. Let's look at what other examples he's had where it's been wrong, and if he's not fired for incompetence, then that's looks really bad in Willie Collum, and you should just probably resign.
Yeah, the thing is as well about the whole decision and the VAR review, it wasn't even one of the ones where they could have brought McLean. It was McLean that was the referee, wasn't it, on the day, over to the screen to review it, because again, the technology just didn't give a conclusive enough view. So it was like, you've got to then give the benefit of the doubt to the attacker. They don't know for definite. And say the examples we've seen in recent years where all it takes is basically that width of the ball to still be over the line for it to be deemed in. And yeah, they've got to they can't conclusively say that all the ball was out, because so yeah, it had to stand. But yeah, again, it's just another one to add to the list. It'll be interesting when the VAR review comes along. But another thing as well that really was doing my head in so much in the Hibs game, other than the fact that we had a pretty dreadful performance, and it relates to referees, is this nonsense has got to stop with linesmen not willing to put their flag up and just wait for VAR. So Hibs were playing such a high defensive line and they were catching us out with offsides a lot. And the amount of times that the linesman allows the play to go on and then puts the flag up about 7 or 8 seconds later. There was one in particular, I remember we broke down the right-hand side and the linesman is right in front of Nicholas Kuhn. He's right there and he can see that he's offside. He lets Nicholas Kuhn pick up the ball and run all the way up the line and cut inside before eventually flag up. And it's like, that's been going on now for a few years. This is a UEFA thing. But to me, it's just encouraging referees and linesmen to be lazy, because all they think is VAR will bail me out. VAR will sort it for me. And again, it's like the VAR is not there to re-referee the game. The VAR is there to intervene on a clear and obvious error, which they don't always do as well. But yeah, I just think that they have to do something. There needs to be some kind of intervention here. Something needs to happen with VAR in general and across all of football, because nobody's really getting it right at the moment. But yeah, that's one that's really infuriating me at the weekend. There, it's like, well, if we're offside, it's annoying that we keep getting caught offside, but like just call it an offside and we can get on with the game. The fact they let it play on for 7-8 seconds, you're like, oh, come on, just stop it. It's so lazy.
No, it's you're right, it is a FIFA thing right now, and I think what's probably going to take is one of their marquee stars is going to get injured through somebody falling through after he's won the things where it's an offside. I mean, you can see what players sort of let up, and you know what I mean? It's like, it's instinct. You've given everything, you'll give your power if you don't think it's there, but you see players let up on all that, and that means you're guarding. And there's a bunch of times where we've seen follow-throughs and tackles and all that. I mean, think about it. I played football. It's one of the things, if you want to even the score with somebody, you know, you just run them hard, knowing, even though you know it's offside, you know he has to go for it now and he has to battle you. So, you know, it's something I think it needs to be cut out, you know, just for that sort of thing as well. But as soon as it happens to like a marquee player, one of the favourites, right, Mbappe, you know, Vinicius Junior, any Real Madrid player, you know.
Well, Neil Lennon said it on the commentary. He said that's one of his concerns about this allowing play to go on. He says, what if a player gets injured or something in that time? It's like, just stop the play. If he's offside, he's offside. So there's so many blindingly obvious ones, and the linesman's just always got that mentality, like, VAR will bail me out. It's like, come on, just have the courage of your convictions, as we always say on the Boise bus. Courage of your convictions.
Yeah, I think we need a way of getting better referees to make better decisions and all that. And that just means, like, simplify the rules so that it's not all these grey areas, you know, and that's it. And it might reshape the game the way we see it, but I mean, most of the rules you can get by, but it's one or two of these wee grey area rules, you know, advantage, things like that you know, cause a lot of the trouble. And, you know, now it's like, oh, so now that he's making a rule whether you've got an advantage, you know, he's making a rule with if he thought the tackle had intent or no, or stuff like that. And it's like, you know, I don't know, find a way to just referee the game fairly with the rules we got. I mean, I don't ever remember referees being this bad. After Scarborough and Terry, you might see some of the referees we had.
Well, you see what they did in Turkey this past week for the Istanbul derby between Fenerbahce and Galatasaray. They had a Slovenian referee, they had a foreign referee, because apparently Jose had been kicking up a fuss about the biasness, and there's been a lot of incidents in Turkey in the last year of referees getting attacked on the park. They've went to the next extreme, but they had a foreign referee, but it was a drab 0-0 draw, I believe. So there you go.
Phil's quote was, he came out after the game and he says, if that was a Turkish referee, we would have lost.
That was a point gained for Jose. But yeah, I seen that they were having foreign referees. I know they've had a lot of issues with referees in the last year and a half. The fans over there, they take no prisoners. But moving on from the Hibs game, say Aberdeen, obviously, you talked about the team selection being bang on, and one thing you've been calling out for, we kind of disagreed on it last week, but I've said, no, Ida's still the man. He's got to be the man that plays through the middle, keep his confidence high. But Ida started through the middle. He got another goal. Fantastic finish as well. Bit of an awkward one because it was dropping at an awkward angle. He got the opener. He opened the scoring with the volley. He scored right at the death as well. But yeah, again, 2 more goals to his total. I believe he's now, I saw today, if he scores 5 more goals or 6 more goals, he will better any total that Odsonne Edouard had at Celtic any season. So I think he's on like 26, 25 goals or something in all competitions for the season. So yeah, he's not far off of that. And again, this is a guy who's more auxiliary centre forward. So say he's a winger who can play through the middle. But yeah, the goals, tally, assists, everything about him he's just came on to another level. He's just absolutely, the improvement on him has been fantastic. But he started through the middle, goes off to that. After a wee bit of a shaky start against Aberdeen, let's be honest, there was a couple of really dodgy moments, like Kasper Schmeichel with an absolute mental pass out from the back that nearly resulted in a goal. And I'm confused. I thought Carter Vickers cleared it off the line or cleared it at the back post, but then it was a goal kick to us. And I was like, pretty sure it must be a corner. But anyway, but yeah, we did have a couple of shaky moments. But once we did get control of that game, yeah, it was 3-0 by half-time. Jota getting a goal. Arnie Engels, I was quite surprised that he passed it back to him. It was very unselfish, Engels, because once he was in, I was like, he'll just slot this away here. But then he passed it across the goal. And from where I was sitting in the stadium, I genuinely thought Jota had scuffed it the way it slowly moved towards the net. And at the angle, I was like, that's going to go by the post. But obviously, it went in. And then Callum McGregor gets one for half time. So, yeah, it was a strange first half where, yeah, we didn't really get out of second gear. We had a couple of issues at the back where Aberdeen gave us a few problems early on. But, yeah, we went in 3-0 at half time. But it only got better after that. Second half, obviously, we definitely took control of the game. And obviously, last week, Liam, I sat here and I talked about Yang, the bold Yang, and I said that, I mean, personally, I'm still not exactly convinced by Yang. I've said a few times, and I'm like, I just don't know. I don't know if he's going to make it. Obviously, Brendan is throwing him into games. Maybe Brendan does see something. But I did say last week, every game now is an audition for Yang. If he's got a future at this club, and if there is something in there, he needs to start showing it. He needs to start coming off the bench if he does. There's got to be some goals, some assists. There has to be something there rather than, oh, he looked quite lively, like running at tired defenders. But he got a goal. And to be fair, he took it well. It was a nice move all round and he finished it well. But he was just causing all sorts of chaos when he came on. There was a bit of a early Dyson Maeda feel about it when he was all just about causing carnage when he came on the park. And obviously Maeda got a fifth one as well. So 5-star performance, Liam, overall.
I thought it was good. Couple of things. When Cameron Carter-Vickers went for that ball for Schmeichel, oh my God, how many out there thought, Julian, don't do a Julian, you know, as he was like going into the post, Christ's sake, man, don't do that. Maeda, you know, we replaced a top Japanese striker with a better Japanese striker. And I think that's how we have to look at it. We don't look at it, Ida's still number 2. Right now, Dyson Maeda is our best striker. Do you say it? You know, he's starting to look like Larson, you know, like he's taking him a wee bit longer, but you can see these qualities now that are coming out where he's moving in space, and I think that's confidence. But I also think he looks like a really disciplined fucker, you know. I mean, he's very stoic, and you know, maybe it comes with a long line of samurais or something, man. But he seems to have a discipline that's it's like you can see nothing's going to stop him from scoring every game. That he's put pressure on himself, and I think making him the number 1 striker is going to give him that confidence, because that's the position he wants for Japan. And you know, he's playing a lot. He's one of the players where it's 90 minutes. You know, Larson was like that. Larson liked the 90 minutes. You know, and so I think that has to be one of these things of how you manage players as well too. I remember because Rodgers sat him out there in December, and it was like, oh, his guy's injured. Go, no, it's just part of the rest. So I think you'll see him playing lots and all that. But when he does sit out, you'll probably see him right out the team, you know, for recovery.
Yeah, but the thing is, he did that thing again on Tuesday night where you were winning 5-1 or whatever, you know, late on in the game, and he's still chasing the ball down in the 93rd, 94th minute, hassling defenders, and it's just like, man, this guy is just a ball of energy. And it is quite interesting as well that with a certain fixture just around the corner, I believe that his best friend, his mortal enemy over in Rangers, has now moved position to play in the middle. Isn't that convenient that Dyson Maeda's now playing a lot more through the middle? So that'd be quite a funny outcome if Tavernier rocks up playing at centre-back on March the 16th, and then there's Dyson Maeda standing right in front of him again. It's like, nah, you're not escaping him that easily, Tav.
Mate, that's going to be absolute box office that as well, because just the absolute fear. You know, it's a nemesis by this time, you know. Just Dyson says bogeyman. I love it. Bears are back. I mean, I caught the first 2 goals. Had to go to a meeting. I was bouncing about all day. And came back a couple of hours later, seen it. They did 4-2.
Nah, 4-2 in the end.
My God, celebrating it like they really needed it. I guess, you know. I mean, those celebrations. And were they in George's Square this time as well, Phil?
No, not quite that much, but I believe they were. There was a few fans jumping on the pitch celebrating, and it's like, guys, you've only. Well, ironically, right, and people were saying on Twitter, "Oh, well done, you've brought it back to 13 points." Actually, after that round of fixtures, Liam, we've actually extended our lead. In the last 2 game weekends, Celtic have extended their lead on both weekends. While both teams lost last weekend, we lost by 1 goal, they lost by 2 goals. So that was us gained a goal on them. And then in the midweek there, we won by 4 goals while they won by 2. So even though the points total is still the same between Celtic and Rangers, somehow Celtic have still managed to extend their lead, because right now the goal difference is worth an extra point, maybe even more than that, to be honest.
Phil, did you miss seeing Barry Ferguson's face on the telly? My God, he's got a look, huh? I mean, it's like, I don't know, it's like either somebody just shot themselves in his presence, or he's just been woken out of coma. You know, it always looks like he's just absolutely annoyed with somebody, you know? Like, just looks annoyed every time you see him. Even Happy Barry still looks annoyed. I don't know, man. The big, the Brogy Bears are back.
The Brogy Bears.
Fun's over, kids. That's it.
See, for when we talked a couple of weeks ago when it was Admin Day, the 14th of February, and we talked about our favourite moments in the banter years, and one of the recurring themes over the last 12 years, 13 years now, on social media is the amount of their fans that all they care about is just having somebody at the helm who hates the fucking Celtic, hates them Fenian bastards. That's all they care about. They don't care about having a manager that plays good, expansive football. They don't care about any of that. See, whenever things are shit's hitting the fan, all you'll see is screen grabs for websites like Follow, and you'll see their tweets all over the place about just get somebody that hates the fucking bastards, you know? And it's like, well, guess what? You've got your wish now. You've got 4 of them. 4 of them. So there's a whole dugout filled with them right now. Brilliant. Let's see how that works out for you. You know, at the end of the day, they should be trying. They should be trying. I mean, I'm not complaining. They can make these mistakes all they want, but they should be looking to get a manager that actually tries to play some kind of football and not just fill a team with hatchet men that just hate the Celtic. You know, the amount of times they talk about players and all, they just want a Scottish and Northern Irish contingent. You know, it hates the fucking Celtic, man. And it's like, come on, man. There's more to football than that. But they just never learn. Well, they've got their wish now. They've got a fucking dugout filled with them till the end of the season. Hey, maybe even longer. Who knows? But yeah, we'll see how that works out for them over the next few weeks. As Brendan Rodgers said a year ago, Liam, when he came back, I'll see you here in May. And right now, I think we're going to have a very good month at May with the way things are going.
Aye, you know, I wasn't shocked that they dropped points after us. That's right in their makeup. And the fact that it got him sacked, you think they must have just had enough with him as a team and all that as well. But, well, you know what? I think their team's starting to look good, Phil. I'm liking what I see with Schlupp at left back.
Yeah, he looks good.
I mean, regardless of the klaxon and all that sort of stuff, well done, Greggy. He's a feather this week, so I think maybe that'll help him in life as well. Sometimes it's a big change for a man. So good luck, best of luck with that, pal. See you in Vancouver. Yeah.
No, I agree with Jeffrey Schlupp. He looks good. The only thing that's going against Schlupp and why he might not be getting a game a week is just getting that match fitness, because I don't think he's played that much for Crystal Palace this year. But he looks when he's on it. I mean, he played the full game, or they played. Liam Scales did come on it late on in the game on Tuesday. But yeah, I mean, when he's on the park, he's looking good, man. He's good going forward. Which again, you know, you talked about the inverted fullback thing. It's better when Celtic have got their fullbacks both going up the wing, you know, and supporting the attack rather than one that cuts in. And when Kieran Tierney arrives in summer, we know what Kieran Tierney's all about, Liam. It'll be very much going up the wing as well, and you'll have Alistair Johnson on the other side doing the same thing.
But also we have a threat and we have a bit of power on that. There's a bit of explosiveness, right, with the ball. No just running aimlessly into areas and inverting yourself. I'm talking explosion in the tackle and in the air. I didn't see him lose a header. Every ball he went up, he won it, and he won it powerfully. And I think he's a lot bigger than he looks. Like he's a fucking unit, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I think he's bigger than Johnson. So I like having that bit of power on both sides as well. You know, I think Trusty tends to play better with him beside him. We've talked about that before. Gives Hatate a bit of muscle in front, you know, and behind him as well. And, you know, like somebody to back him up, go in and make the crunching heavy tackles, you know, mark their big guys, match their run physically, that sort of stuff. So, yeah, I think he brings a lot of that to the table. When I see him running back, he's accelerating. You know, he's no decelerating. You know, like huffing and puffing. So yeah, so I think that's what's going to bring us a good dynamic to the team. I'm looking forward to seeing that. And even if he's just here to set us up for Kieran Tierney coming back, I don't know. I'd like to see both of them because I think we can develop the same style of game with them both in the team. Anything else, we have to change to a different format than the inverted fullback, and I don't think that works anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. Especially when you've got, I see there's an imbalance on the other side. The other fullback pushes forward. To me, I always feel like our left side has been nullified at times with Taylor on the park going forward because, yeah, it's you know, Celtic are all about attacking down the wings, and you've got two marauding fullbacks that can come up, and yeah, Schlupp's shown so far they can do. I mean, there was that moment as well against Dundee United a couple of weeks ago. We were denied an absolute goal of the season moment with Schlupp hitting the post. Because again, he'd marauded forward, just picked his spot, and it clipped the inside of the post and came back out. It would have been an absolutely sensational moment. So he's obviously got a goal for it in him because some of the highlights that I've seen from when he was playing for Crystal Palace, some of the goals that he scored were top notch. So he's got a mean left foot on him. It's a free transfer at the end of the season. I think we talked about this last week, and there was a few people in the chat saying about his wages and whatnot. I don't know, the player himself has obviously dropped a few wee nuggets in the press when talking about it, and he seems really positive on his time at Celtic, saying he's loving it already. Feels like, you know, he's just settled in right away, so that's always a good sign. And working with Brendan Rodgers, you know, we'll be enjoying that. So it's like, keep an eye on that one, because I think with Celtic it's a no-brainer. If they can make it happen, you've got Kieran Tierney coming up from Arsenal in the summer as well. I think that's two great options for left back, and Schlupp's also, as we know, can play a few different positions. And in the modern game, Liam, with the amount of injuries and that can fly around, then you need a player that can plug into a few different positions. So to me, Celtic need to try and make it happen. I think we've seen enough already. He's passed the eye test. Forget all this XG and analytics and all that stuff. He's passed the eye test, and I've got 4 eyes, so I can definitely judge on that one.
So, talking about players that can play more than one position, I felt bad for Scales on that goal. You can tell it caught him off. He ended up a yard behind him, and he couldn't get that yard back. He was just one pace out of step with trying to cut that off. Yeah, it was a bad goal to lose, but I think that's only the third goal we've conceded at home, and it's all been to Aberdeen.
Yep, only the third goal in the league that we've conceded at home this season. Yep, Aberdeen have scored on him. What did you make of Kasper Schmeichel's reaction? I loved it because, again, it just shows that it supports the story that I heard when he signed. His dad told it on, I'm going to guess it was probably that podcast with Roy Keane and that, the ones always get Man United players on it, the Overlap, whatever it's called. But yeah, he talked about on the day Leicester got the trophy for winning the Premier League, the last day of the season. He was furious because he lost a goal that day, which meant he didn't win the Golden Glove Award for the season, even though Leicester were having the biggest day of their history, getting the Premier League title. He was furious because he didn't get the Golden Glove. So the guy's a winner, and I'm okay with him being absolutely furious at losing that goal, which was just a consolation. But yeah, it's like, yeah, it just shows us how much determination the guy's got.
Yeah, I mean, when you want to disappoint his dad, I mean, seeing his dad at the telly, if that's him happy, I'd hate to see him disappointed. He's like, he's a bit cringe. It's like, Dad, you're embarrassing me. Get away. Yeah, I like to see a goalie, get angry and stuff like that. I think he's the best since Borac that we've had, and I love Borac, and also as well, I want to see him coming and doing that with like the closing of the goal. Yeah, I love stuff like that. It's like a bit of psychology and all that. And I love Joe Hart, but my God, we've given them their due. They did a great job.
Can I throw a span in those? Is he better than Fraser Foster at his best for Celtic?
I think so as well. I think he's so much to his game. He's going to have. I mean, how often have we seen him do a giveaway like he did against Aberdeen? Very rarely, right? no heart every time we got the ball. We've no had the heart in the mouth moments with Schmeichel's what we had with Hart, right? And after that, so many goals that I thought that he saved us, particularly in the Champions League, where he made so many big saves and has made us look better than what I think we actually are. I mean, those defenders are all Rolexes or something at the end of the year because he's saved a lot of goals by making himself big and throwing himself at the feet of players, you know, like brilliant. So yeah, I'm really happy with him, and I'm glad he's enjoying it. So we're waiting on him signing an extra year, right? Or is he signed?
Oh no, he signed it. He signed it. We're getting an extra year out and guaranteed now. So we've taken up that option already because that was on the week that it happened on the Tuesday, and then the events the rest of the week. I can't remember what it was, but we talked about it on the Friday, feeling it was the week that Connor was on with, and some other things that happened like on the Wednesday and the Thursday of that week that totally buried the story on the Tuesday that Kasper Schmeichel had signed that extension. I can't remember what exactly the events were. Somebody might in the chat might remind me. I've got a vague recollection that he signed the deal. It got a wee bit of press, and then the next day something massive happened on the Wednesday, and then something again happened on the Thursday, and yeah, everyone just kind of.
I think it was Albin Ayeti's birthday. That's what it was.
Albin Ayeti's birthday, yes, it was that. It was indeed. Aye, that's exactly what it was.
I remember from my Celtic feed this week, Albin Ayeti.
Interested in that question I just posted about Foster. It's got a few people in the chat. Graham Tyrrell says yes, he is, as in Kasper Schmeichel's better than Foster. Patrick McLaughlin says Fraser Foster got 21 shutouts for his 3 seasons, 3 times for us. For San Fran Celtic saying he's as good as Foster. So, but yeah, it's always good to have a good goalkeeper. Growing up, when I was watching Celtic when I was younger, Celtic always seemed to be weak in the goalkeeper area, with Gordon Marshall being the goalie during the Tommy Burns era. One of the reasons you could say maybe that Tommy Burns' team didn't win many trophies was because Gordon Marshall was the goalkeeper, and then it was Paddy Bonner before that, but it was a very late in his career pilot, Stuart Kerr. Jonathan Gould came in. Jonathan Gould was all right for a time. Then we had Rab Douglas. Many people say that was a blind spot for Martin Neal, and Javier Sanchez Brotto was and then we had Magnus Hedman for a while as well, and the goalkeeper's always been a bit of a wheel. So, but over these years, Dimitri Karin with Joggy Bottoms, Dimitri Karin, John Barnes signing. So so it's always been a bit of a bad area for Celtic.
Other than maybe Stuart Kerr and Gordon Marshall, and all them pretty good goalies. Gould, I think we got him for some Welsh team that isn't even like a Welsh league team or something like that.
He was playing at a pure low level. Yeah, we plucked him from nowhere.
Yeah, Inter Capertel, I think it was one of the teams we ended up playing or had played, and he'd done all right. But imagine what would have been like if we had a much better goalie then. That's the one position. He seemed like a very stopgap. That was a lazy signing. I'm surprised he was around as long as this. But I don't remember being particularly awful,
Yeah, Jonathan Gould. I think the expectation was so low with Jonathan Gould after Gordon Marshall being the previous keeper and Stuart Kerr that he was actually all right. And it was like, he turned out okay. Because nobody expected him to be in any way good because we signed him from utter obscurity. But yeah, he turned out to be no bad. And yeah, actually, Patrick McLaughlin was pointing out, and I saw this doing the rounds on Twitter. Rab Douglas apparently holds a shutout record with 22 shutouts in a season. Rab Douglas, Rab Douglas, there you go.
We don't talk about enough is Craig Gordon.
Of course, Craig Gordon was good for us.
There was that one point where we were all really happy and all that as well, because he was actually training with Rangers when we signed him, and it was like
we were
gasping for a quality goalkeeper, and we had Craig Gordon, and he defied, he overseeded my expectations.
Craig Gordon had some blinding saves, but the reason why his time gets kind of forgotten is it was at the time when Rangers weren't around, so it was always a bit of a cakewalk. But there was some great saves I can remember in European games and some of the Europa League nights against like Red Bull Salzburg and all that. I can remember him pulling out some blinding saves, so he did have it in him. He was a good keeper, actually. Craig Gordon was. I know he's a bit of an arse, but just don't chip him at a penalty. Just don't do that to him.
No, he was terrible. I mean, I think honestly, in his head, I think he just used to dive the wrong way.
Yeah, the one time he did save a penalty was at the Beersheva game, the Hapoel Beersheva one, where we snuck through on. I guess the only time he managed to save a penalty that we conceded in a game. But what a save! Thank God we needed it that night because that was an uncomfortable one. But yeah, that was quite a nice deep dive into goalkeepers over the last 15 years or whatever, guys. But yeah, before we get to talk about St Mirren game, I said at the top of the show, fan allocations, Liam. It's back in the headlines again. So first and foremost, and I'll bring up this comment here, there's going to be 7,000 away fans at Celtic Park in a game coming up, but it's not the Rangers game. It's actually the Hibs Cup game. So apparently Hibernian have been granted 7,000 tickets for the game at Celtic Park a week on Sunday, which I didn't see coming, but it's the tie of the round. It's live on the telly on Premier Sport. So yes, Celtic are rolling out the red carpet for the Hibs fans, 7,000. Will they sell all of them? Will 7,000 high Bs come through for the game? There's still going to be a massive contingent, bigger than any other away allocation we've probably seen this season, but interesting move. So we'll talk about that one first. So what do you think of that one, Liam?
Good optics. If you're making television and you've got a product to sell, you want to show tension. That's how you sell a good TV program. That's how you build storylines. What's the tension? If it's just all the one fan singing and you don't hear the other team cheering and you don't hear that, you lose a lot of the entertainment value of the product you're trying to sell. If you're trying to sell Scottish football, you need to bring that rivalry in. You need to bring in the tension, and that means fans. So you can't love everybody. You can't hate everybody either. So roll out the green carpet, invite them in. Honestly, one of the best things I ever heard at football is I've got a lot of Hibs pals that are, a lot of pals that are Hibs fans. Sunshine and Leith, I hope they built that out. But, and then we scud 5 past them again. But
they have been getting a bit above their station. That Josh Campbell in particular was giving it the biggin. Him and Jeffrey Schlupp were having a wee set two near the end of that game. And at the end it was a free kick we won, and him and Schlupp were having a bit of words. And then as we went deep into stoppage time, he booted it out for a throw-in and began celebrating. And it's like, we'll see how you do at Celtic Park in a couple of weeks' time, my man. Sapphire Celtic, to be fair, yeah, you're probably right. Celtic was 7,000 VAR experts on the game because, yes, every Hibs fan that you see online at the moment seems to be a VAR expert. So the 7,000 going to be in the stadium, apparently. Jim C reckons it'll be about 5,000. And somebody else in the chat said, Patrick McLaughlin said, it's 20% maximum allowance for the Cup. So the rules that if the away club requests it, I guess Hibs have requested it. So let's see if they can fill it. But yeah, that's not the only story about fan allocations, Liam. It looks like, and they say take it with a pinch of salt because this has came out before and it's changed. So at the moment, it seems like Celtic and Rangers are going to have away fans back in the stadiums for the remaining fixtures and going forward. And it looks like it's going to be what they deem the European allocation. So it works out about 2,000 to 2,500. I am in favour of this. I think we cannot be saying this is the best derby in the world if we don't allow away fans in. Granted, they 100% started it. They were being petty about it. And obviously we were just like, well, we will return the favour in kind. Every time you knock us back, we obviously pushed to get the whole 8,000. They weren't willing to do that. So Celtic would obviously be like, well, fine then, you're not getting anything. But obviously I want fans to be there, mostly because I think it adds a bit of needle to the game. And genuinely, I love being at these games, and if we win, seeing their raging Coopens sitting in the stadium, especially with the way this season's panning out and we're closing in on title number 55, it would be quite sweet to have a whole bunch of them in the stadium, sitting there powerless, if we go and absolutely do them. Because the last time they were in the stadium with a significant amount, when it was the 8,000 allocation, Liam, we beat them 5-0 and won the league that day. And there wasn't a single Rangers fan to be seen by the end of the game because they'd all fucked off. And nothing. I love seeing them absolutely raging. So I welcome it. I welcome to have away fans back. So again, I just think it adds a bit of needle to the game. So for me, I'm okay with it. I understand the issues that we've had in recent times with them throwing stuff at players, staff members. I totally am on board with that. But I also do think when we go there, we saw in the last game how much of a cauldron of hatred that place is. We need a contingent of Celtic fans in there. I feel I know Mark says this a lot when he's on the show. Celtic do need a contingent of fans there, and I'm happy that we're getting something. 2,500, it's better than 800, which is all they were giving us at best in the last couple of years. So for me, I'm okay with it.
Aye, so this is where we start our own MMA gyms and all that, get everybody pumped up, ready to go. That's what they do in Bulgaria. Our club's got their own MMA gyms, and you go to the games, it's like, you're going to take advantage of us. 2,500. Yeah, I think that. I mean, that amplifies everything, doesn't it? I mean, then to go see a game and like the home crowd sings and has tifos and all that sort of stuff. If there's somebody there to see it, if you can get the reaction from them there rather than on television and all that, so all that stuff will be amplified as well. The messaging stronger, songs get louder, more political, whatever it is, So will they as well. And so I think that adds an extra excitement to the game, and it adds an energy. People feed off of energy, and again, it's negative and positive energy, but it's energy. And so how we channel that energy as team and fans and all that to work, it'll change every week, change every game. So I look forward to it as well, because some of the best laughs you get as a fan is seeing some of that banter in the crowd. It's no hateful, but it's actually funny. And we've had plenty of times where, like the songs we sing to cheering on Andy Halliday, those are moments as fans.
Oh, God, yeah.
Even as a neutral, when you're watching, you see that there is a rivalry there, but also as well that you can have it in humour because, again, friends and neighbours, hug a bear.
Hug a bear. But it's again, like people in the chat are saying, the full allocation stuff and Monty, and I totally agree with that. But yeah, when you have had those moments in past years when they have been in the stadium, like you think back to the Armageddon banner, the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse, we beat them 3-0 that day. That was the last Old Firm, before the liquidation and administration. But we'd done them, and there's 8,000 in the stadium, and they're all just standing there, absolutely raging with a banner, and then the coffin that came out, passing it around and chatting things like "Your Rangers till July." I can remember that being very loud that day, and that they're all just standing there, absolutely fucking raging, just it's brilliant.
The one that cut right through them was your grandchildren will be Celtic fans. You could hear the brogues just ripping off their feet and just like full zombie walking dead at he broke us. Yeah, my God. I miss all that, and I don't nearly get to I don't get anywhere near it physically. But even on the telly, you can feel that energy coming across through the sound and all that, and try and soak up as much as you can, but still is just as emotional.
Yeah, totally. So, I mean, I'm a favourite happened, but as I did say, do take it with a pinch of salt, because this is not the first time that story has come up. I believe at the start of this season, in the summer, it came out that the FPFL nowadays had Celtic and Rangers to sit down, and they've thrashed out this deal about it being a 2,500. So we were under the impression that from the first meeting this season, there'd be away fans back, and then there wasn't. It changed because something to do with the safety net. Celtic had obviously installed the safety net. We trialled it against Bruges. I want to say we trialled it against Bruges. We used it. But I remember the argument at the time, Brendan Rodgers was very quick to point out that, they've not held up their end of the bargain, because obviously Celtic are concerned about where our fans are positioned at Ibrox in that corner with Rangers fans on either side. But obviously something's been agreed now, again tentatively, but we'll see if it changes in the next 2 weeks or so till the game. But at the moment, it looks like there will be a contingent of away fans going forward in this fixture. And we'll see what that does. Say if we're going to say that we've got the best derby in the world, then I think you need to have away fans in there for it. But we'll just see. Don't rule it out that they throw their toys out the pram about something else, no doubt. Let's see what happens. Anyway, let's move on into tomorrow's game, Liam. We've got St Mirren, the enders of Philip Clement. They put the final nail in his coffin, much like they did to Tony Mowbray many years ago for Celtic. There you go. They're an equal opportunities club, St Mirren. They've ended a Rangers manager's career and a Celtic manager's career. So, they were the final nail in the coffin. They went there and won last week at Ibrox. So they're not a team to take lightly. They beat Rangers twice this season. They're always a bit of a wee stuffy team, especially on their own ground. We've had a couple of, not really bad results, but they can be a bit awkward. I know they beat us when Ange was in charge, but we ended up winning the treble that season. It was a very rare defeat that season. We were we were flying for most of it. But yeah, they are capable under Stephen Robinson of causing us a few problems. I think a guy that you've highlighted a few times, O'Hara, is always a bit of a nuisance in the middle of the park, causes a few problems. But yeah, they are they can be difficult, especially on their own park. But again, we knowing what's in front of them, and I know we sat here and said this last week again with the Hibs game, where we're like, look, we know what's in front of us now. Surely they don't need the motivation. You've got to imagine that after what happened to Hibs last week should work as an encouragement now for Celtic, where it's like, well, if you're not switched on, that's what can happen to you. So it's all guns blazing going forward, surely, for this game and every remaining fixture, Liam.
Aye, and I think they'll give us a good game as well. They've got a strong physical team, and they look very fit, and they look well coached. They've got a discipline to them, and I think they got a lot of Celtic academy players that are playing for them as well. The other boy, I think it's Fraser. Fraser came through as boy with the Irish name, Donnelly or Docherty. But I think they've got a few ex-Celtic academy players, Phil, that play for them as well. And Mark O'Hara, I know he's a Celtic supporter. So, I think they're a good, well-disciplined team. And I think this is one of these games where we have to play our style. If we play a Scottish physical game with them, I don't know, then we'll have to, we'll have to find our goals in different places and that. But if we go and we play our direct route style, spreading them, especially if they're running about chasing guys in Maeda, Jota, I think these are all players that they can express themselves against. They're strong players, but I don't think they have that skill level or that wee bit of a spark that you'll see with Jota with our forward line and the entirety. So I think they'll give them problems and stretch them about in that. And yeah, I think it'll be a physical game, and let's hope our players are up for it. I mean, they should be. That's it.
Definitely.
And they should all be. I think now as well that we're getting sort of a settled team. You want to see people for places. You want to see everybody want to stay on the park as long as they can. But I want to see Maeda go for goals. I'd love to see him break a record. If he thinks it's in his makeup to play as many games as he can. And just absolutely crush it with his scoring, because he wants to show his Japan manager that he's playing in the World Cup. Give him that opportunity, because he looks like he's taking it. And that's what I need to think. We need to look at this team as a meritocracy, like play the players there in merit who have played well. I think that's what Rangers into trouble with all these sports science and all the resting and this guy and that guy, and it's like, no, play your best players until it's gone. Because I think we've only got 5 games to win, Phil.
5 games, and then that takes us up to fixture 33. So it'll be right before the split, and I believe it is St Mirren tomorrow. Then we've got Hibs in the cup, so that doesn't count towards the league. Then it's Rangers. Then I think we've got Hearts, St Johnstone away, and Kilmarnock at home. That is the next 5 league fixtures. That's got to be 15 points out of 15. That really does. There's no reason why it cannot be. And yeah, tomorrow I say, regardless of how dangerous St Mirren can be at times, and they can be a bit of a physical team as well, because they've got what I like to call a David Martindale special. There's plenty of big cloggers in the team. His teams are always filled with big units, and I've noticed St Mirren have got a few of them as well. So I'm always worried about they types of players, because they just kick you. I'm pretty sure Alec Gogic still plays for St Mirren, doesn't he? He's still there, because I know he's swapped around a few different clubs. But yeah, Gogic is always a bit of a hammer thrower, so he always concerns me about kicking players. But again, if our players are on it and they're fast enough, that forward line at the moment, Maeda should start. He's a man in form. It's all about playing your strongest team at the moment. I say, especially if we go down now to 1 game a week, I don't think there's any reason for unnecessary rotation or try to rest players. We should get into a mould now. And yeah, Jeffrey should play again on merit, on form. He has played well, so it's like, keep him in. Also, thank you to Ryan the boy, who's become a member as well. Thank you very much, Ryan. Spotted you there. All aboard, indeed. Yes, indeed, my man. Welcome. Take your seat, grab your ticket, and take your seat. We're always happy to have new members on, so cheers, my man. But yeah, in terms of the team, I think it's just the same as the Aberdeen one. It's no coincidence as well that the team that played against Bayern was that 11, and we were great that night. Obviously, we got sucker punched at the end, but we were fantastic. after the terrible first half against Hibs, we were better in the second half when, so shock horror, the team that played against Bayern Munich were the 11 on the park, and against Aberdeen through the week, the 11 were the team that played against Bayern Munich. As I've said about, if you've got a team that can compete at European level for Celtic, then domestic games will take care of themselves, and it's no coincidence that we look better with that 11 at the moment. And yeah, it's just a case of, if players have fallen out of the first 11 at the moment, like Eder and whatnot, it's up to them to show their stuff when they do come on. I said again last week, and earlier on I said in the show, for guys like Yang, when Yang comes on, he needs to treat it as an audition, because he got a goal through the week. Brilliant. Keep doing that. Keep doing that. Show us what you've got when you come on. We need everybody, all pulling in the same direction here, all guns blazing, all hands on deck, whatever you want to call it, Liam, to the end of the season, because we've got a treble to win here. It's about our 9th treble if we pull this off. We already hold the world record. Why not add to it? We've came this far, Liam. Let's go and get a little bit more history.
Absolutely. That's what this club's about, and that's what we want to see as fans. I thought Yang's goal was interesting because you could see his plan A ran out. He was going across for the Kuhn goal, and then that option ran out. And then you could see right away he had a plan B, and he was able to get it and then just squeaked it in the post. I was really happy with that goal. That was my favourite goal of the day. There's no excuse right now, and I think that's what we have to do. Play the team you want to see. Play the team to win. That's what we want as fans. That's what we want as that. And players they do have the physicality to do that. We see all the top players in the world play much more games. Guys that go further in every single international tournament and go to European finals with their club teams. So we see players that play at that pace all the time. And probably even more layers on that. Well, their marketing priorities and stuff like that. So I think there's no excuse for tiredness or anything like that, or babying players. I think these are men. They're highly primed athletes. They've got the best recovery systems and people looking after them so that they can get back to their full capacity as fast as possible. So suck it up, Buttercup. That's what the big bucks are for.
Yes, indeed. So, yeah, hopefully a rousing performance coming against St Mirren. Before we obviously do our predictions on that one, let's revisit the mystery player from the start of the show, Liam. It was quite a busy career this player had. He'd done a magical mystery tour all over Germany. So let's bring it up again. So we have got Bayer Leverkusen, Arminia Bielefeld, Eintracht Frankfurt, Mainz, Koblenz, Freiburg, Celtic, Fortuna Düsseldorf, and then he ended his career in Seoul. So, Liam, who is the mystery player behind the Boise Bus logo tonight?
Oh, my God, right. So, I'm thinking Andy Hinkle.
No, not Andy Hinkle, but it is the right position. We're seeing a right back.
Oh, I know, and it came down to two, and one of them was obvious. But come on, somebody in the bus must have it. I'll leave it up to them. I know who it is.
Yeah, let's see. Patrick McLaughlin. Oh, of course, it had to be. It just had to be Chaduri. There he is.
And I kept thinking, all right, no, it's too obvious. And I'm thinking, well, maybe Andy Hinkle was pals. He was about the same time as, or just after, with Dave Kwan or something. Oh, never mind. Chaduri.
Yeah, Chaduri. So his dad, Boom Kun Cha, is a South Korean football legend who played in Germany for a long time. So he is born in Germany. Chaduri has German citizenship. And yeah, he's played in a wide array of German teams. We have one before coming to us. But yeah, when I say Chaduri memories, Liam, I'm sure the own goal against Rennes comes to mind, and that big docky smile where he was just like, what am I like?
My memory's going into a bar in New York, in Koreatown, and looking on the wall behind the bar, and there was pictures of Dave Kwan, Chaduri, I think it was another Korean player that played for us, but they were up on the wall and behind the bar, and I'm thinking, oh, brilliant. He goes, yeah, it's a Korean bar. And they're our favourite players.
Oh, he was a cult hero, I think, is the way to describe him, Chaduri, because he was quite late in his career as well when he joined us. I think he was like 33 or 34 when he signed for us on a free transfer after the 2010 World Cup. But I can remember him scoring an absolute raspberry a goal against St Johnstone in an absolutely freezing cold game at Celtic Park, Liam, in Neil Lennon's first full season. With the winter period, we had a few sticky results, and we were 0-0 with St Johnstone till like the 91st minute. And he cut inside from the right and bent it in with his left foot. And then it was like -5 or -6. I remember being in the stadium and it was sub-zero temperatures. And he took his shirt off to celebrate. So, what a man. What a man.
Did he have a song?
Well, there's the whole Pussycat Dolls tune. Don't you wish your girlfriend was hot like me? Don't you wish your fullback was Chad Uri? Yeah.
Oh, it's brilliant. That and All We Love is Stanislav Varga to the radio.
Kevin Bridges tells the story about he was at some glitzy event and Nicole Scherzinger from the Pussycat Dolls was there, and he walked up to her and told her the story about one of your songs has been adapted to this player at Celtic, and she just sort of looked at her phone, looked at him, and then just walked away and didn't say anything. And I was like, wow, brilliant. Totally unimpressed by that one.
Man, I met the porn star Jessie Kay, and I told her I love playing chess.
There you go, Patrick McGowan. The goal Scherzinger wasn't impressed. Aye. And also Chris M, Boxing Day 2010. It was right in the smack bang of winter, but I remember subs. I think we won 2-0. I think Ki Sung Young scored right after that as well, but it was 2 stoppage time goals. But I remember Cha bending one in, absurd goal, and then took his bloody shirt off to celebrate. Mental, hardcore, braver than me anyway. But yeah, Chad Dooney, but I say that own goal against Rennes, just the calamity of mistakes. Passing it back to Fraser Forster, who, let's be honest, wasn't the most nimble on his feet. If the ball doesn't come to him right to his feet, we've saw it this season, Range Postecoglou at Spurs, he cannot play with the ball at his feet, but yeah, he tries to pass it back to him, and it just zips right past him, and just that big daft smile on his face, just summed up. But yeah, Chad Dooney, a bit of a cult hero to say the least. But yes, let's do our final predictions then on the St Mirren game tomorrow. I think it'll be a bit of a tight one. I think St Mirren will make it difficult for us. I'd love us to go out there and win, 5-0, 6-0, and hey, we might. I mean, there's a reason why I'm also wearing this particular shirt tonight, because obviously we're playing St Mirren away. And of course, if you know your history, this shirt holds significance about games through Paisley against St Mirren. Obviously, Love Street, we won 5-0. Love Street 86. 5-0. That'd be fantastic if we did, but I think it'll be quite a narrow one, a 2-1 victory, I think, but a win nonetheless. As long as we get the 3 points on the board, Liam, it's all that matters at this stage.
I think we're in a groove right now. We're fine. If we start the same team as we started the last game, I think we'll run it up. I think it'll be one for all my favourite Pussycat Dolls, 5-0.
Fair dues, mate. I hope so. Mate. I say always about getting the wins at the moment, but if we can have a great performance and a lot of goals, even better. Just keep motoring away, because we've got a huge game against Hibs next week. Every single cup game now, because we want that treble. They mean even more now. And obviously the Rangers game comes after that, and that's one that we want to be our absolute best on that day in particular. So yeah, it's all about just getting those wins, getting that momentum. Let's see what some of the people are saying in the chat before we go. Charles Smith says 3-1. Patman says 3-0. Oh, need a hat-trick from San Fran Celtic. 3-0, he says. Graham Tyrrell says 2-1. 420 somewhere says 4-0 to Celtic. So yep.
That's right.
It's a nice positive victory for Celtic. But yeah, we will head off now. That's been another Friday feeling in the books. And yeah, thanks for joining us on this fine evening. And hopefully, if you're going to the game tomorrow or wherever you're watching it, enjoy it. And yeah, hopefully we'll be talking about a Celtic victory. Now, again, Russell, I'd imagine him and Terry will go on, because Terry also wasn't available on Tuesday night. Not only did Russell not know that we were playing on Tuesday night, because I messaged him on Tuesday afternoon and says, do you want PMP set up for 10 o'clock tonight? To which he replied, oh, fuck, are Celtic playing the day? Aye, we're playing the night. Everybody else is playing tomorrow. Oh, shit, I thought we were playing on Wednesday. Yeah, we were moved to Tuesday night because this was one of the weeks when Sky Television wanted to pretend that they cared about Scottish football, because TNT Sports had all the Premier League games live. So Sky had to fill the schedule. So no, they put on 2 live Scottish games this week. And that's why we get moved to Tuesday night to go live. Because a home game against Aberdeen live on Sky just in the middle of the season, it did seem a bit out of place, but that's why. So yeah, we were playing Tuesday, and Russell had made plans on Tuesday. I genuinely didn't know. Thought we were playing on Wednesday. So And then Terry wasn't available as well. So hopefully they will be around tomorrow. I will speak with them tomorrow morning at some point and say, when do you want PNP set up for? I'd imagine it'll be about 8 o'clock. So look out for that, folks. Hit the subscribe button and the bell notification, because then you'll know when it's on the road. Me and Liam are heading off now. And yeah, we'll be back next Friday. I might be back on Tuesday as well, because we now get 3 midweeks. David Logue could do a Tuesday ticket again, because that's obviously his show, and I'll jump on and help him out with that, because yeah, there's no midweek games now. The last few weeks there's been midweeks that have caused us to do a Tuesday ticket. So yeah, we will be around, well, on the next one. We'll see you then. So enjoy your night, folks, enjoy your weekend, and enjoy, hopefully, a nice Celtic victory tomorrow. And we shall catch you later, guys. Cheers.